College football experience. DFS for the college football playoff and underdog fantasy plays and props. Episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do sign up with the promo code TCESGPN, you get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet's a brand new sports book available in 45 different states. Download Rebet in the App Store and use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And we're also brought to you by the SGPN College Football Playoff Challenge. It's completely free to enter. And we're giving away $1,000 to one lucky winner who can pick all or the best percentage of games and totals right. So head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP to enter today. Once again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP to enter today. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Props, picks, DFS. The dogs are barking. The dogs are barking.
Oh, that was the ambulance there for a second.
No, that is Lima. My mix, my mutt. Lima letting the world know that we need to. She's telling you that we need to just load up on these Indiana Hoosiers, and hopefully you just caught the Bottom Line Bombs episode. The college football bombs down under episode with CJ Sullivan from the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, because it's already been wild and fun. All right. We are taking the Indiana Hoosiers on the money line. YouTube.com/the college experience. Hit that like and subscribe. But also, I mean, I took Valpo basketball and they were down by 100 bajillion points. I bet it again at halftime. So what was I catching 2? They cover because they hit a buzzer beater. And then I got 12.5 at the half. That's how you do it. YouTube.com/the college experience. And also the bet detective's going through it right now because he bet Ohio against Jacksonville State in this bowl game where Jacksonville State scored I feel like 20. They're on a 20-3 run.
Yeah, it's been a fun game. I know we kind of talk bad about bowl games. This bowl game's been fun.
Yeah, I haven't had to laser focus on it because of the shows that I was doing, but I've had it on here. I've been watching it. And Tulane, Florida just kicked. We are right in time. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swigget, Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
I've been waiting a lot of my life for a playoff on-campus locations. I can't wait for these 4 games. We got bowl games. I can't wait for the FCS playoffs. I can't wait for the D2 playoffs, D3 playoffs, NAIA championship. It's all happening this weekend. But I love these on-campus games. You just know college football was meant to be played on campus. I am joined by my co-host. He is known as the DFS God, and that's what we're going to talk about today with our props, DFS, underdog fantasy plays. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lot giving, farmer, earning the basketball league MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What do we got? 4 hours to kick, a little bit more than 4 hours if you're listening live. Let's go.
4 hours. We're getting football at one of the most legendary places to play a game of football. I mean, it's hard to name a legendary player who hasn't played at Notre Dame Stadium. And I think that's one of the things that gets lost in the luster with the NFL every 20 years. Hey, taxpayers, here's a new stadium. And then you lose some of the aura, some of the soul, some of the history. Notre Dame Stadium, man. Newt Rockne, Paul Hornung, the Four Horsemen, Rocky Blyer. You know what I mean? You can just go on and on and on about how many greats, Jerome Bettis. You can do the modern day ones, Rocket Ishmael. But then you could think about all the teams opposing coaches that have played there. Vince Lombardi. There's just a ton of coaches that have played there. It's just it's a perfect setting. Of course it snowed last night because the football gods are telling us more of this, please.
It was snowing this morning. It was snowing early this morning in South Bend. I think it's all done by now. I think the snow's done. I don't think there should be any on the field, but it's going to be in like the mid-20s or so. So you're right, man. The fact that Notre Dame's in the first ever college football playoff game at home, the fact that it's an in-state rivalry, Friday night, I mean, it's all lining up for a fantastic day of football, a fantastic weekend of football. And you know what? For me, it actually starts at 7:00, North Carolina High School Championship. Woo! Roseville versus Grimsley. Let's go.
What station we got that on? Can I put that on here at the studio? Or?
I think so. Yeah, you should be able to. I'm looking into it.
Yeah, please send me that link. We're never too big, and to me, the purest forms of football are scattered through high school and college.
That's right.
So. Yeah, I mean, let's get to this though. DFS. So first, I mean, I know we did our pick show already, but has anything changed? Because you felt pretty confident that Notre Dame is going to tackle and take down. What are they calling this? Catholics versus cigarettes. Take down Kurt Cignetti and the Indiana Hoosiers. Has anything changed in your mind? Have you listened to any of Pick Dundee's relentless shows that he's doing where he's saying, take the Hoosiers and the points, take Kurt Cignetti and what's that?
It seems like most of SGP is on Indiana. I wonder what the national betting splits are, but no, I still like Notre Dame as much as I did Monday night. I think they're going to win this by double digits and cover in the process, obviously. And therefore a lot of the prop bets I'm going to make kind of go into that game script where I think Notre Dame's going to win. So that's why I'm on like some overs with some of their players. I'm on some unders with some Hoosiers. Overall, I like the under here. Well, I saw, was it 52.5? Oh, you know what? It's come down.
I'm seeing 50.5.
So, but behind the curtain, we were going to do this podcast yesterday on Thursday. Couldn't make it happen, so we pushed it to today. So a lot of my odds are yesterday. So I mean, this number's dropped. Maybe it was because of some of that snow falling. So I bet yesterday under 52.5. I'll still go under 50.5. I think this is going to be like 24-10 type game.
Yeah, I'm on Indiana plus the points. I'm on them. I sprinkled that money line plus 220, 230. Shop around.
What about the total?
I do like the under. I think this, when I look at this game, I think this is a 17-14 type of game, 17-10, 14-13, something like that. So load up on that under 50.5 as well. Now, here's what's great about all this action. We got first touchdowns, we got props, we got all the good stuff that makes gambling great. Let's start with some props in this game because you like Notre Dame, so I'm assuming you're a Duke guy. You're still you and Riley Leonard. had a thing, right?
Little soft spot, little soft spot for Riley. I kind of want to see him do well in these playoffs because I do still like him, and I don't blame him for transferring, especially once Elko left.
Plus 225 for 225 and a half. I'm sorry, 225 passing yards or more, no half. So 225. Riley Leonard, NC Nick. I can't help but think when I look at the most recent games, you got the USC game. Leonard only threw for $155. You got the Army game. Only 148. You got the Virginia game, 214. Is there any way you see him getting that number?
No, that's not one of the props I plan to bet. I think if I had to choose a side there, I would probably go under on the passing yards. I'm not going to attack this game through the air with Riley Leonard. I think, and we mentioned it in the pick show, Indiana's got a strong rush defense. I think they're going to do what they can to stop Jeremiah Love and the rest of that backfield. But I think that is going to open up chances for Riley Leonard to run the ball. And I like his rushing ladder. First off, if you're just choosing over under, it's around 52.5. I like the over. I think Leonard can get close to 100 yards here. I mean, he has 721 rush yards on the season, so he's averaging a little over 60 yards rushing per game. He has rushed over 100 twice already this year. But if you look at it, lately Notre Dame has been steamrolling opponents. The USC game was pretty close, but Army, UVA, Florida State, Navy, blowouts. He didn't need to run the ball. If anything, they protected him a little bit, gave him a little less carries than usual because you don't want your star quarterback getting hurt in a blowout. So I think if Indiana is successful stopping the running backs, I think Leonard is going to do some things on the ground. One of the reasons why I like Notre Dame is I think the quarterback is going to have a big day of rushing. So I'm going to take the over 52.5 rushing yards, and I'm going to do a little rushing ladder. I mean, if he hits 100 yards, it's plus 600. If he hits 110, it's plus 750. That might sound really unrealistic, but he's gone over 200 twice this year. He ran for 143 against Miami of Ohio. Pretty good run defense, granted, MAC opponent. And he rushed for 100 against Purdue. Bad rush defense. So you could argue that, those were two lesser opponents, which, is a good argument. But I just think he's going to have a nice day on the ground.
Let me ask you about this one here. I'm seeing, I believe, let me see if I can find this again. First touchdown scored, Riley Leonard plus 450. There's also 2 touchdowns by Riley Leonard at plus 300. The one that jumps out to me if we're going to talk Notre Dame offense, see, I don't think Notre Dame's wideouts are very good, right?
Yep.
I think Indiana will limit the run. That's why we love the under. Part of the reason why I love the under. And I also think Notre Dame's defensive line will be a problem for Indiana's offensive line. But where I see edge, talked about this on the Bottom Line Bomb Show. The mobilities of both quarterbacks. The mobilities of both quarterbacks, I think, are a factor. Something we should consider. Both Rourke didn't have a lot of rushing yards this year, but in years prior, he's had a bunch. He's mobile. And when you talk about Notre Dame's pass rush, I think he's going to be forced to run the ball a lot. But one thing that I think Notre Dame, if I'm looking for any reason why they could win this game, how do they win this game? I think they're going to find the running backs out of the backfield. Riley Leonard's going to have to run the ball, and he's going to have to play turnover-free football, which, like I said, I don't know that he can. But I think one big edge is at tight end. Mitchell Evans, to me, and like they could attack the weakest points of the Indiana defense, in my opinion. So what is it? 29.5, I think is his receiving yards, unless that's changed.
Around there. Yesterday I saw 27.5, and I like Mitchell Evans in this game. So Mitchell Evans, if you're not familiar, he had a bad injury towards the end of last year. So he kind of got off to a slow start this year with a new quarterback, building that rapport with Leonard. I watched him play Duke last year where he had 6 for 134. And lately you've seen him get more targets and have, better production. He had 7 targets against UVA, 6 versus USC, coming off his best game where he went 5 for 66. I agree. I like the over 27.5 on Mitchell Evans. You could talk me into a ladder play with Mitchell Evans receiving yards. You mentioned first touchdown. I think the only one I'm going to play is Mitchell Evans plus 1,600 first touchdown. And then
I was just about to give that out.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. And plus 270 anytime touchdown. So, yeah, I think Mitchell Evans, I've always thought highly of him because I saw him, really have some monster games last year. And I think he's kind of rounding into form this year. I think he could be a big problem for the Hoosiers.
That's what I like on the Notre Dame side. I was just about to give out both of those Mitchell Evans props. First touchdown plus 1,600, anytime score plus 260. Even the 2 scores plus 2,200. But I only have Notre Dame scoring somewhere between like 10 and 17 points. So
yeah, I think the 2 scores. I mean, is it possible? Sure. Is it juicy? Sure. Well, maybe a sprinkle, but I'm not going to play that one. If I could just finish up on Notre Dame, then just a couple other small ones. You kind of mentioned the backs out of the backfield. I agree. I think Jeremiah Love, the main running back, he's caught at least 1 pass in every game. And the over right now is 11 receiving yards, which he's hit. And he's hit that in at least half the games this year. And he's caught more passes in the close games. Again, if Notre Dame is, beating Navy by 50 points, they can just run the ball down their throat. They don't need to get creative and get some screens and get, the back out in the flat and stuff. So I think Love goes over that very low receiving total. If he can get 40 yards receiving, it's plus 700. I like that angle. And then last but not least, a lot of bets that I've been cashing, prop bets, are quarterbacks over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Whenever I see that line with a decent quarterback, I think there's a good chance he can go over. And that is Riley Leonard over 1.5 passing touchdowns plus 130. I like that too. And that is kind of all I like for Notre Dame side.
I have a side on Indiana that I'm excited to play, and it's Patty C's boy, Elijah
Surratt. Okay.
I know you'd say against Ohio State, he only went 3 for 40. Yeah, wasn't the greatest game. Against Michigan, just 1 for 36, but that was a touchdown, right? And remember, like they had QB problems. Those games. Rourke was 4 days off of a surgery. I think you're going to see a sharper Curtis Rourke throwing the ball. But I like one of the big things to me is Notre Dame, although good at defense, their star cornerback Benjamin Morrison's out for the season. Right, he's been out for the season for a while. I mean, back on October 15th or something, this happened, right? But I still think that's an area that they can take advantage of. This is a guy, Elijah Surratt, that's had I'm counting 5 games, most recently against Purdue. The very last time he was on the field, 8 catches, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. And here's one thing I'll say about the snow. The advantage is always the receiver because you know where you're going. It's slippery. So I don't expect 300 passing yards, but I do expect if there's a turnover, which I do think Notre Dame will force a turnover, or if Indiana just goes on a long drive. I think when you get around the end zone, I think you saw this a lot with Brady and the Patriots. You'd see the receivers have a little bit of an edge because you know where you're going. And when it's slippery out there, so Elijah Surratt. And how about this play? And Nick, first touchdown plus 1,500, anytime touchdown plus 205. They're already without their best corner. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think Notre Dame's going to score the first touchdown because I'm, pretty confident in my Notre Dame play. But if you're looking for one on the Indiana side, that seems pretty juicy. We're going to kind of battle here.
7-0 against Ohio State.
That's true. We're going to kind of battle here, though. I mean, I think you kind of started by talking, kind of bad about Surratt not showing up in the big games. And I'd also throw that Washington game in there where he had 1 catch for 12 yards. Is that under at 54.5 right now? Is that what you're seeing?
For receiving yards? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to go under there. I think I kind of like the under with Rourke passing yards, 198.5, and the under on Surratt receiving yards. I kind of, if you like one, you probably like both of them. Rourke had 68 yards against Ohio State passing. We all know that. Notre Dame's got the third best pass defense in the nation. I know what you're going to say.
But,
yes, the schedule, which
and two
really
triple option teams.
Right. Well,
two triple option teams and then a bunch of backup quarterbacks.
USC did have success in the year against Notre Dame. So do I think Notre Dame is really the third best pass defense in the country? No, they're not, but they're still a really good pass defense. I mean, you don't finish third overall if that's not the case. So most of my action is going to be on Notre Dame guys, but I kind of like the under on both Rourke and Surratt.
Rourke threw for 206, 2 touchdowns against Michigan. And didn't he get knocked out of that game? I thought he got knocked out of the game in the because that's the game he got injured in, and then he came back for the Ohio State game, right?
Let's see here. Nope. He's the only one that threw a pass in that Indiana Michigan game. I will say that game was at home. That game was that in October or was it early November? Maybe, like I said, I don't think we're going to have any snow. The wind's not
November 9th.
Okay, early November. So it was at home. I think maybe the cold and the rabid fans in that environment is going to lead. It's going to really, get that defense. It's going to be loud in there. They're going to make it tough on that Indiana offense.
Disagree. I actually think both offenses will struggle. But if I had to take an over passing yards, I think Rourke is the play, especially with Notre Dame being dinged up in the secondary. Now, if you told me rushing yards, I do think Riley Leonard would be the play. By the way, Ohio does beat Jacksonville State to go final there, 30-27. They do not cover the 5.5. Sorry, bet detective, folks. Want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by, first us. Yes, the SGPN first annual college football playoff challenge. Pick sides and totals for every game with the chance to win $1,000. Yes, we're giving away $1,000 for first place. It's free to enter. All you got to do is just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is one of the biggest menus for all of sports. You can win up to 1,000 times the amount of money you enter with Underdog streaks. And Underdog's always making it easier to win with profit boosting pick'ems. They got college hoops, they got college football, they got everything else: NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, MLB, NASCAR, CFL, everything. So sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code TCESGPN. NC Nick, I know we gave out some of our props, but I just want to hit you with you're on Notre Dame.
I am.
Jeremiah Love, higher or lower? Notre Dame star running back, 84.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, I like Love receiving and I like Riley Leonard rushing because I do think the main focus of Indiana will be stopping the ground game with the Notre Dame running backs. So I kind of like the lower on that. I think he probably only gets maybe 60, 70 or so. He's a hell of a running back though. So could he break a long one and eclipse that mark? Sure. Yeah. But I'll say lower.
He's also got a higher lower of 1.5 receptions and receiving yards, higher lower 9.5. You can find an edge on Underdog Fantasy you can't find anywhere else. I'll take the higher on the 9.5 receiving yards. So get on over there, UnderdogFantasy.com promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet's a brand new social sports book available in 45 different states. There are plenty of betting opportunities available on Rebet. It's easy to use, great for people in states where traditional sports books may be restricted. Download Rebet in the App Store and use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $100. That's a Rebet, promo code SGPN. All right, we are back. Shout out to Chris Brady. Happy Friday and happy holiday, guys. There you go. Shout out to Colt, Stephen A, everybody in the chat. SMU was traveling to State College where the tickets are kind of cheap. Tickets are kind of cheap. Students are home, and guess what? State college is hard to get to. You don't just fly in. You don't just fly in. You gotta you gotta just you fly in, then you take a bus, a car, a plane, a boat. I don't know. Shout out to Ty Jen, great college show, definitely top 5 out there. I'm new to this, so I hope you get that 15K subscription. Don't cancel the show. Appreciate you, Ty. There's rumors, there's speculation. If you can, yes, we need to get to 15K by in 11 days. Or there's rumors that it might not ever happen again.
Or there's rumors Patty C might just be the only host. Solo show, just Patty C.
Yeah, it's just gonna follow his life around. Right, we're just gonna put a camera on his shoulder like a fucking parrot, right? And you're gonna watch.
Some fans might enjoy that.
Yeah, I think they might. Colt asked me, Dundee, what's your favorite college basketball play? Well, it already hit. It was Valpo. It wasn't my favorite. I'm joking, but I did bet it. Favorite college basketball play of the day would probably be, I think Jackson State will cover that. I think it's 15.5 or 16 at UTEP. I also like Southern against Loyola. We're riding the SWAC tonight. Just a little SWAC parlay. Jackson State and Southern. Southern, I think, is getting 7.5 or 8 at LMU. And LMU always plays with their food in these games. And Southern's a chippy team. Almost beat La Tech at La Tech. Stayed within 12 with Chris Beard at Ole Miss. Watch out.
I'm going to battle you on that St. John's Providence games. I like Providence and the points at the dunk at home. I think Providence, talk about a live dog. Friars.
Whose home is it? I would say it's Rick Pitino's home because he built that place. All right. He built that place a long
time ago.
Yeah. He knows all the cocktail waitresses. All right. Yeah. Check out the college basketball experience for more on that. Shout out to Donovan Morris, who's with me on the Jackson State Southern moneyline parlay. But interested party is in the chat saying, I'm calling for the upset here. Back to the game, college football. SMU at Penn State. SMU catching 9 that I'm seeing right now, plus 280 on the money line. Over under at 52.5. NC Nick. On the show, I believe you took SMU in the 9 like me, a little reluctantly, I feel like this is the one I don't have the greatest feel of.
Completely agree. And it's also the one I don't have the greatest feel on the over under. I'm going to say it goes over. But if it goes over, that means SMU is having a decent day and scoring some points. And I think if SMU is going to cover, they probably need the game to go over. It needs to be kind of a shootout, kind of like the Clemson game where both teams are in the 30s or, at least mid 20s or something. So I'm going to take SMU in the points. And I do like the over. What's your play on the total?
I would go over as well. So I guess we're not saying we're in agreement on everything there. But what I am curious about is how you think Kyle Jennings,
Kevin
Jennings. Jesus, what the hell am I talking about? Who the hell am I thinking of? Kevin Jennings. I don't know. Kyle Trask. I have no fucking idea. Anyway, Kevin Jennings. Haven't got a lot of sleep. That's probably. I'm just gonna chalk it up to White Tiger. Kevin Jennings is gonna do against this Nittany Lion defense outdoors in 20 degrees.
Yeah. Again, I don't think there's going to be any snow. I don't think the wind's going to be bad. This is going to be pretty damn cold. So it could be worse, I guess. If there was really some real elements or some real bad wind, it could be worse for SMU. And it's at noon, so it's not like it's going to be at least at about the high point of the day or so. It's not going to be at night where it's going to get really cold. So I think Kevin Jennings is a playmaker. He is going to have some success against Penn State. And I'm going to play some props. And that's going to start off with anytime touchdown plus 260. He did score on the ground against Clemson. I think he has 5 rushing touchdowns on the year.
I think where are you getting that 260? I'm seeing it much lower.
Well, I will say this was yesterday, and it's either DraftKings
I'm seeing plus 190 at DK right now for anytime touchdown.
It might be BetMGM. Let me see what BetMGM has. Again, all of my odds are from yesterday when we were going to do this show. I did not update them today. Let me see what BetMGM currently has, because I think it might have to be more than plus 200 for me to get down on that. No, this is not Notre Dame, Indiana.
Well, let me tell you.
SMU. Mm-hmm.
John Riggins is reborn again. We've said this.
Oh, you know
His
what?
name?
Sorry. Let me cut you off. Plus 290 anytime score on BetMGM. So actually it's gone up. I bet it at plus 260 yesterday, plus 290 on MGM.
There you go. BetMGM plus 290. Shop around for all this stuff, but I was mentioning John Riggins. People might be young and they don't realize that he's a unbelievable talent, unbelievable running back for the Redskins and the Jets from Kansas. He's, he retired in, I don't know, 85 or something, but Tyler Warren is the rebirth of him. It's just the modern day game calls for John Riggins to be a tight end, but he also does take carries. Tyler Warren does. How about this right here of plus 390 for 2 touchdowns? We've seen this guy. What did he do against USC? He had like 16 catches.
Against USC, he had 17 catches, a touchdown, just 1 touchdown there. But no, I definitely like the 2 touchdowns. I bet it yesterday at plus 360, so it's gone up a little bit. He's had, what do you have? Six receiving touchdowns on the year, 4 rushing touchdowns. So I love the fact that he can either catch one and maybe run one in to get to that 2. So I definitely like the 2 touchdowns, rushing or receiving. And then I like his yardage also. This on the biggest of stages, you need your best players to step up. I think Warren could have a monster game. Maybe not quite as big as a USC game, but I think we could see what is it? Plus 450 for him to have 120 receiving yards. That could be in the cards. So I'm going to take the over. I'm seeing that. Go ahead.
Oh, that was my son. Sorry. 100%. I think that's a play that's on the table. And sorry, White Tiger likes it as well.
White Tiger agrees.
White Tiger, big believer in Tyler Warren on the prop there. I'm sorry, we got a lot of noise going on, but
we got dogs, we got babies. What else is going on?
Yeah, we got dogs, doors shutting, babies. But one angle I like too is it's a shame, by the way, that because both, if RJ Maryland was playing in this game for SMU, he's out for the year. You might have the best 2 tight ends in the nation squaring off against one another. But I'll say this, man. Did you watch that Clemson game? Because I thought SMU, kind of has found a decent, I won't say he's as good as RJ Maryland, but Matthew Hibner. Have you seen this kid play? He's not bad, man. He had 5 for 69 and a touchdown against Clemson. Against Pitt, he had over 100 yards receiving. This guy's been pretty darn electric. So interested party saying bring in White Tiger as a capper. He's right here. He's kind of giving us some tilts, some teeters. But I think this is another one where if I'm looking for how SMU will be capable of scoring, assuming if they can pass the ball, I think Hibner could be a guy that could have some success against the Nittany Lions. So how about him? First touchdown plus 2,200. 2,200 first touchdown, anytime touchdown plus 340.
That's not bad at all. I mean, he did step in very well. I mean, he was getting basically no targets, no playing time when Maryland was in there. So for a backup to step in and have the second half of the year like he's had, why not?
And the last 4 games he played, remember, he didn't play the Boston College game, right? The last 4 games he played, he scored a touchdown in every single game.
Yeah. Wow.
Folks, get on over there. We're giving out free money.
Well, speaking of touchdowns on the SMU side, I'm going to play the same thing I did with Riley Leonard with Kevin Jennings. I'm going to say over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And for Jennings, it's plus 155. He's had 5 straight games for throwing for at least 2 touchdowns. And he just threw for 3 against Clemson. So not only am I going to play an ATD with Jennings, I'm also going to go over 1.5 pass touchdowns.
Whew, I do like that too. Because even if they're down, you saw it. Yeah, I think it's a good spot too. Is there anything on the Penn State side from Aller or perhaps their ground attack, Singleton, Allen?
That ground attack is so frustrating, man. It really is. So not only did SMU do a really good job stopping the run against Clemson. I think they held Moffitt to maybe like 50 yards or something. But just having the two backs there, I mean, both are really good, but I just can't trust them to bet on them. The only other side I'm going to go with Penn State. I kind of like the Drew Aller rushing, which last year we never would have said that, because last year he seemed like a statue back there, like a lawn chair. But he's been running the ball a lot more. And now with the backup, Prabula gone, transferring out, I mean, they would bring in Prabula to do some run packages. But I think Drew Aller can run the ball. He can take over that role. And I mean, come on, this is a playoff game. I mean, you got to do whatever you can, take the ball down, run. So I think right now, what's Aller's rushing? I mean, it starts off with 16 yards. I think he goes over that. I wouldn't be surprised if against Oregon, he ran for 54 yards. So if he runs for 50 again, you're looking at plus 850. And I'm not too concerned about SMU sacking Penn State quarterbacks. So you don't have to worry about those negative yardage, which you might have to worry about with Kevin Jennings and rushing. So I like the Drew Aller rush ladder, actually.
I like it too. You're speaking my language there. That's a good one to get into. All right, let's jump over to the next game on Saturday, which is Clemson at Texas. You don't have any more plays on the SMU Penn State side of things?
Nope.
All right. Next up, let's go over to Clemson, Texas. We are both on Clemson. We will talk about that in a second. But folks, I want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie's been running on SGPN for years. Check out their new and improved website. It's absolutely great on mobile. Plus, there's props for every game. And the live dealer casino is always a good time. They have new cash out options too. I told you I'm on St. John's. The Slick Rick minus the points at his old stomping ground tonight. Head over to mybookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Plus, they're going to give you a little $10 casino chip to get your beak wet. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 powered sports betting AI platform. And that provides bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds to get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props. You can sit back and copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or you could build your own. I like doing that. And then Rhythm will build around what you like. You can now track props in the Rhythm app. There's college hoops, there's college football, there's NFL, there's NBA, there's everything at Rhythm. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we are back. Shout out to Timus James. Colby, you still suck. Oh, guess you didn't take Valpo. Yes. Buddy, Clemson. Plus the points. They're getting 12 now. It's gone up a little bit. Over under at 50.5. Your thoughts on the total? I know you're still on Clemson, correct?
Yes, I am. And I like the over on that too. So I like 2 overs and 2 unders. This one over. I think both these defenses are maybe a little overrated. And I think there's gonna be some points in this one. This one has a chance to be the highest scoring game of the weekend. I think either this or the SMU Penn State.
I agree, completely agree. On the over there as well. Clemson, I think it's worth a money line sprinkle with the Clemson Tigers. I think they pose some problems. They're more complete than almost every team Texas has played and beat. Not Georgia. I'm saying that they've played and beat, because Vanderbilt would be the only one. And I think Clemson is a more dynamic offense than Vanderbilt. And I also think they got some guys on the D line that are much better than Vandy's defensive line as well. So on that, as far as props for the game, NC Nick, what do you got here that you like? You jumping on Phil Maffa?
No. I mean, Maffa was kind of controlled against SMU, and I think Texas's run defense is solid. If anything, I worry about Texas's pass defense. So not to sound like a broken record here, but I like a lot of quarterbacks that are sitting at that 1.5 pass touchdowns. I'm going to take Cade Klubnik over 1.5 pass touchdowns plus 140. He's only thrown for less than 2 touchdowns in 3 games this year. So there's been 10 games where he has thrown for at least 2 touchdowns. I think that's going to happen again. It's not a crazy odds, but for plus 140, sign me up there. That's where I'll start.
Yeah, I mean, Texas has the number 1 pass defense in the country, but I believe that to be bullshit. They played
That
Michigan, who can't throw the forward pass. You played ULM's backup quarterback, Mississippi State's backup quarterback, Oklahoma's backup quarterback, Florida's 3rd string quarterback, Kentucky's backup quarterback. So you just played a slew of backup quarterbacks. I am with you, and I think we can find value in taking what's his regular, what's the game number for Klubnik?
Passing yards.
Yeah,
passing yards.
I had it in front of me. I don't know what the hell I did with it.
I'm not betting that one, so I don't have it written down, but I can certainly pull it up. And
I'm about to say I have it somewhere here. But that's another one though that I think could be a sneaky good value play. He's going back. He's from Austin, Texas, in front of mom, dad, and that girl he always wanted to plow, right? And
225 and a half.
A little bit. That's what I'm saying. Give me the higher on that. Give me the higher on that. And I'm just curious here. Let me see. So last week, I guess last week or 2 weeks ago, it was a bad example because Stockton came in. They put another backup quarterback there. So I forgot even that game too. But let's go to the some of the other games that they've played. I think one of the ones that I would say that was the first matchup against Georgia, where Carson Beck, well, he actually only threw for 175 that game. But that game script mattered there. They were up like the whole game. I still think they're vulnerable though. I think they're vulnerable. How about the pisser? Pavi and 143. Yeah, I don't know. I think their offense is more dynamic, not than Georgia's, but than Vanderbilt's. And I feel like the Georgia game, the game script had a lot to do with them not being super aggressive passing the ball. So I don't care that I can't use an example that I can't find. I think it's still worth a shot on that. I'm
not going to go over. I'm not going to bet the passing yards with Klubnik. I'm just going to bet the passing touchdowns. But I do think there's a little bit too much love being thrown towards Texas's pass defense. So I'm going to grab one of the pass catchers, and I really like the 2 freshman Clemson wide receivers, TJ Moore and Bryant Wesco Jr. They have a bright future. Clemson has a bright future with those 2 guys, especially when you pair them up with Antonio Williams. Now, I do think Williams and Wesco Jr. are going to gather most of the attention. So I'm going to go with the 3rd receiver for Clemson, TJ Moore, over 25 and a half passing receiving yards. He's done that in 10 games again. So it's kind of just like Klubnik. So only 3 games has he not caught 26 passing yards or receiving yards. Damn it, if I could talk. So I like TJ Moore, one of the freshman receivers, to go over a really low total of just 25 and a half receiving yards.
Here's one for you. Arch Manning. I mean, that's a part of the reason why I like Clemson is what is the fate of that locker room? If you're telling me Ewers is flirting with Michigan State and Missouri NFL draft.
Well, what about Ewers pass total? 266 and a half.
Oh, I'll take the lower. He's really struggled the past couple of weeks. Yeah.
Other than the 358, other than the 358 he just threw against Georgia. But I think everybody's remembering that overtime game and just assuming he's going to crush that number again. I like the lower or the under of the passing yards with Ewers.
I also wonder how healthy he is. He just hasn't looked the part to me. So if he struggles a little bit, do they bring in Arch?
Potentially, for sure. I mean, if they go down 10-0 or something, I mean, you definitely have to be concerned. And that's why also another reason why I think the unders on Ewers makes sense. Sticking with the Texas side, though, even though I kind of like the under on his passing yards, there's some receivers on the Texas side I kind of like, especially with Isaiah Bond unlikely to play. If Bond doesn't play, which sounds like so, I think that's more targets. You know, it's more catches for Matthew Golden and tight end Gunnar Helm. Golden right now is 59.5. I like the over receiving with Golden. I like the over.
Wait. Golden was the guy that lit up Georgia. He had like 165 yards receiving. I think that's the one you circle. Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, so so stick on Golden. He's gone over 60 receiving yards 4 of the last 5 games. He has 8 touchdowns on the year, but no touchdowns in the last 3 games. He's due positive touchdown regression, plus 800 for 2 touchdowns for Matthew Golden. I think that could be in the cards. And then I like the over 38.5 for the tight end Gunnar Helm. Again, especially with Isaiah Bond unlikely to play.
Well, one of the things I love about Golden for the most part is he's had his biggest games in the big moments. I feel like.
Well, this is a pretty big moment here.
Yeah. So
he's
here
Houston
we go.
trainer, right?
He was with Dana Holgerson. He was with the used car salesman. Let's go.
One more side with this. I kind of like Quintravion Wisner, the running back for Texas. He was bottled up against Georgia, but the 2 games before that, he ran wild. 186 yards against A&M, 158 against Kentucky. His over/under right now is 83.5. I think he probably gets close to 100 yards. For him to reach 100 is plus 135. For him to reach 120, it's plus 265. Brashard Smith with SMU just had some success running ball on Clemson. I think the Clemson rush defense, not quite as good as usual. I think Wisner could have a nice game too.
Yeah, I think that could be accurate there. I'll be honest. This is the game I have the least amount of action in as far as player props because we're on the over, but I just feel like it could be a lot of different people.
The next one is the one I have the least player props because I think that game could be really low scoring with 2 great defenses.
But that's why I kind of like taking the lower on a few of these ones. Let's jump to that game. We are referring to Tennessee heading into the Horseshoe. They got a lot of tickets. Apparently, got a lot of tickets now. These Vol fans sneaking up into Ohio. Old Davy Crockett.
Are you rethinking your ranks? Are you going to switch over to old Tennessee?
This is my favorite play out of the 4. This is my favorite play out of the 4. Ohio State minus the 7. I think DJU. If you throw the only way to make DJU look good against Vandy. That's the only time all year that I've been impressed, super impressed. I mean, even their blowout wins against NC State and stuff, I still thought there was plays where he overthrew wide open targets and there's an opportunity for a pick 6 here and there. The Vanderbilt game was the one where I would say he looked to me the best, but still, I do think he's going to have a really tough day because I think Ohio State's defensive line, that's what's funny. I think Tennessee's getting a lot of the headlines for the best defensive line. I think the best defensive line personally is sitting over there in Columbus. And I think they're going to have a big game. I think Nico, look at his game log too, man. This is a guy that didn't throw, he threw for 300 yards once, and that was against an FCS, right? Yeah. Chattanooga, right? He threw for 257 against Vanderbilt, but man, in a lot of these games, Georgia held him to 167, right? Mississippi State held him to 174. Arkansas 156 when they lost that game there in Fayetteville. Florida 169, that was overtime, right? Kentucky 173. So when I see Nico's prop, where was it at again? I'm all over the place here. That's the problem with DK. There's so much that, but I like the lower on his
DK's not good for betting unders. You know, that's why I use Bet MGM or someone else to bet unders. DK is good for overs or ladders. If I'm going to
209 passing yards, dude, give me the lower. He threw for 209 against UTEP.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, see if it's any different on Bet MGM here. They got it at 180.
Holy shit! Wait, what was I looking at then?
That seemed a little high. I mean, I don't think Tennessee throws for 200 yards against Ohio State. So is it juiced up or something?
Yeah, that's what it was. What, even if you said it was 180?
Yeah, 180.5. And that's minus 50,
dude,
minus 115 either way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 12 games he's gone under that number. And if you look, it's been against the teams that were decent, with the exception of Vanderbilt. who he threw for 257. I love this play. Give me the under in this. I think he's going to really struggle.
Do you like it more so? Do you like it more so than Will Howard under 234.5? 60 or 55 more yards. I like both.
I do. I like both, but I like it. I like, because Ohio State's wideouts always give you a chance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, some of their wideouts could break like a 90-yard touchdown at any fucking time. So I think that could skew the stats, but I do like both. I think both are wise plays, but that's one that I like. There was another one. I was looking at the first touchdown prop on this. And this is what I have the under cashing on this one. I think this is going to be like a 20. I said this 24-6. I think Ohio State's going to put the clamps on them. So to me, the first touchdown, the prop that I think you could really have fun with is Will Howard, to me, on the ground at plus 700.
He's got, and also actually I'm seeing plus 1,000 on Bet MGM. So I think more so than game lines, these prop lines can differ from book to book. So if you like Will Howard, go with that plus 1,000. We kind of talked about this. How about, I mean, just for fun, just, a little sprinkle. How about Ohio State defense special teams first touchdown plus 2,200, anytime touchdown plus 360. I know you like that too, right?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, these dogs are. It's craziness in this house right now. They got dogs playing around, chasing tennis balls and stuff. I need to get in the studio. But yeah, also, I do.
I mean, I said, or you said you like the under on the whole game, right? As do I.
Love the under. The
46.5. Is that what I'm looking at now?
I am seeing it at 46.5.
Oh,
I love Ohio State. Yeah. And I actually believe if you're looking for the alt, no. I'm sorry. That was for another game. I can't pay attention here. 46.5. Give me the under. Like I said, 24-6 is what I got this at. 24-6. Okay. Let's go.
I think it's going to be more like 20-16, something like that. 20-17. Ohio State probably gets out with the win, but I think Tennessee covers. Couple other ones I got, kind of like what I did with the Indiana quarterback and receiver. You might want to do the same thing with Ohio State with Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith. Unders on both. So again, that was under 234.5 passing yards for Howard, under 69.5 receiving yards for Jeremiah Smith. The one play I like on the Ohio State side is Travion Henderson receiving yards. He's more of the pass catcher compared to Judkins. It's over 10.5 receiving yards. That's hit 4 of the last 5 games. And if you want to play a little ladder on Henderson receiving, I mean, you got 25 yards plus 200, 40 yards plus 500, 50 yards plus 900. They like to find Henderson in some design screens or just, kind of like broken plays where he's just in the flat. And he has the ability to break one too. So that's really the only other angle I'm going to play in this game. I didn't have a ton of them.
Yeah, let's talk DFS before we get out of here, because a Saturday playoff DFS lineup I submitted, and I feel pretty good about it, man. I'm curious. I am gambling heavy on something that you talked shit about a few minutes ago, but did you turn in a lineup here? Do you have a roster for DFS front?
Do I have a roster? Did I turn in a lineup? You wouldn't call me the DFS god if I didn't.
There we go.
I do, and it has 2 quarterbacks. Did you go 2 quarterbacks as well?
I did, and I went with both my guys. I said one of the possible overs we liked was Penn State, SMU.
Yeah.
So I went with Drew Aller, which I know is some people would say, "What the hell are you doing?" But I went with Kevin Jennings and I went with Drew Aller.
Play the music. That's exactly what I did. I thought for their price,
yeah,
to be that much cheaper than Klubnik and Ewers, I think they can both have similar games. Maybe Jennings is more of the risk, but that's exactly what I did. I took both of the quarterbacks in that game.
And then I stacked Penn State's running backs, Singleton and Allen. I just feel like with the home crowd behind them, the cold, they're gonna get some. Now maybe you eat shit on one and you get just minimal yardage, but I like that as an angle. I was heavy in this game, so I guess I should say I like the over more. But yeah, those I stacked both those running backs there. What'd you do at the running back spot?
Well, I got one of them. I did go Allen. I didn't go both, but if you get Katron Allen for an even 5K, I like the price. I like the fact that he's most likely going to score at least one touchdown, and he should be at least like the 50, 60 rushing yard. And then, I mean, he has a high upside too. He could smash that. So I agree with you with Allen. So were those your only two running backs?
No, I went with the third back in Columbus, Travion Henderson out of Virginia.
Play the music.
There we go at 5,900. I think he has a big day. Let's go.
I was just talking about Henderson and how I like Henderson's receiving yardage. So he's also cheaper than Judkins. So I think it makes sense to roster him. And then my last guy, I was just talking about him, Quintravion Wisner for Texas, 6.2K. I like him better than Singleton. If you want to do a side bet, a bottle of bourbon, how about Singleton versus Wisner? And Wisner's cheaper too, so you should have no problem with that bet, huh?
I have no problem with that bet. I will see you in victory lane, buddy. But one thing that I think you are just missing out on. So your whole roster's turned in?
No, I got my 3 receivers to go.
Oh, okay. I thought you said your last guy. Your last running back.
Last running back. Sorry.
Because I was going to ask you, did you roster John Riggins?
Yes, of course. If I'm going to think he can get 2 touchdowns at 120 yards, you damn sure I did. For 7.2K, I will go Tyler Warren play the music.
Loaded up on him as well. This guy, I thought he should have been a Heisman nominee, personally. I really did. Let's see. Was it his 8 for 146 against Bowling Green, or his 17 for 224 against USC? Was it his 8 for 127 against Purdue? Maybe his 8 for 102 against Minnesota, or against maybe the Ducks, 7 for 84. That was a bad game for him. Yeah, you got to roster this guy. He's fucking incredible. So I don't know that SMU has any player on defense that can guard this guy. So load up.
Exactly. What are your other?
Give me another wideout you have.
All right. So I was just talking shit about him. I was considering an underplay on Jeremiah Smith, but I rostered him just because he had a very good freshman year, and he has explosiveness that not a lot of other receivers on this board do. So I went Jeremiah Smith for 6.2K.
Yeah, I took a shot on Jordan Hudson out of the wideout for SMU. I know he's been very inconsistent against Clemson, just 4 for 19, but he has had like some big games against UVA, against BC, against Florida State. So I think Jordan Hudson, if there is a scenario where they're down big and they have to just put points up, throwing the ball late, Jordan Hudson is a guy I think that can get his. I just want one of these damn wideouts for SMU, and it's very hard to pick which one. Ever since RJ Maryland went out, So
I hear you.
I went with Jordan Hudson.
You know what? Yeah. On the fly, I just switched. I went with Egbuka for Ohio State over Jeremiah Smith, where I can save money. And, it maybe Jeremiah Smith's getting all the attention. Egbuka has been there for a few years. Very good receiver in his own right. I'm going to squeeze him in, and that allows me also to go with Matthew Golden, the Texas receiver, who I was telling you I like his over. I like his touchdown props. So on the fly there, I switched Buckeye receivers, and that allows me to fit Matthew Golden in my lineup. And now my lineup is complete. You got one more guy?
I do, and I'm taking you to. I told you I think Texas is lying to you. Their pass defense is lying to you. I'm going to the star wideout for the Clemson Tigers, Antonio Williams. This is a guy that to me has big play potential. You saw that last week he only had 5 for 50, but the South Carolina game, 8 catches for 100 yards. The Pitt game, 13 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. So get me action on Antonio Williams to go in there and light up this Longhorn defense. And that is my roster, buddy.
Boom.
We got the battle of bourbon.
We got a shit ton of prop bets. It's going to be a fantastic game tonight, and it's going to be a fantastic triple header. That doesn't even include the FCS games. Duke's got a big ACC game at noon tomorrow. It is an awesome weekend for sports, especially the college football playoff. And we are right at an hour, like a couple of true professionals over here.
That's what we do. All right. You got the D2, D3, NAIA playoffs too. What do we do? NAIA championship in Durham. NC Nick said, no, I'm not going to that. I'm bigger than that. Folks, give NC Nick a follow on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The college football experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Remember, 15K. Hit that like and subscribe. I see 38% not subscribed. You're going to cost us. All right. You're going to be watching Patty C body cam. All right. Let's go. So hit that like and subscribe. Till next time, folks. This is the college football experience. Don't forget, we'll be back with the college basketball experience late night tonight. Also, I'm on VSiN's, the VSiN channel, Sports Gambling Podcast, and I'm also be on Sports Grid later tonight talking college football. And we're going to have a little college football reaction show. Myself, Moneyline Mac. All right, let's go. Hop on over there. This is the college football experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the gamblers. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know what you're getting.